2021. Remember the MSI, the Nautilus incident?
Oh, spring 2022 was definitely not a great time
also,
either.
yeah, okay, but you know, that one, at least they won World, so.
Yeah, they did do that.
But there was a lot of that as well. Yeah. And then obviously there was a lot. So really, every year, there's a moment where you're like, this guy's done.
Yeah. Not today. Definitely not today.
It's not today.
Some different bans to come through here as we do see a swap of sides. T1 have moved over to the blue side this time around, and now no AD carries are allowed to be played. We're just we're banning all of them. The Ashe is still up and available. Slipped through the draft entirely in our previous game. We have, Beryl, who has an Ashe skin, Keria, who has played a heck of a lot of Ashe, Gumayusi and Def, both of them, have played a lot of Ashe themselves, and it has been banned a lot. It did lose one game here in the LCK outside of its, trip to the ban list most of the time, and I love this. So I think BDD, absolute unsung hero. I think Beryl 100% deserved the POG by a country mile, but BDD was so good
a lot of
on
those
the Talia.
You are right. A couple of really big, Z, the one with the pebbles.
Oh yeah, the rocks.
Yeah, there you go. I play a lot of Talia. I don't know why I'm blanking on this.
I've never actually called Unraveled Earth. Is
there
what
you go.
It's called, but actually, I never call it that.
Add a couple of great Unraveled Earths as well, and I was actually going to say I would expect that they opt into the more obvious one, which is pick up the Azir. But this is a very clear signal of something we've seen Gen G say as well, which is that in the Corki Azir matchup, doesn't matter who you're playing against, because BDD obviously is one of our best Azirs. It's hard on any given day. I feel like there's, between Faker, BDD, they can all make the claim. But right now, Corki's the guy. Corki is the Yordle that haunts everyone's dreams, and picking Xayah into it generally does not bode well.
No, I'm feeling like that could be a negative, as the Vi is going to be locked away here by Pyoshik. Does give them some hard engage to try and counteract the Corki, but not if he has package. And we're just sticking with the range. The Jinx is going to be locked in here for Gumayusi. We know that this works very, very well. Into the Xayah, added protection with the Tahm Kench as well. And Rakan, pretty obvious to have those the Lovers duo there towards the bottom side. Could be an opportunity to grab a Renata too, in theory. Has worked into Tahm Kench in the past. But you could imagine that wanting to get that synergy would make a lot of sense. Keeps things pink as well, which color coordination in draft is important, I think. But I am entirely not that pleased with KT's response to this Corki draft thus far.
No, already T1 are in a position where they have an incredible amount of range, 2 really strong hyper carries, and there is a decent amount of engage for T1. I think the Rakan helps a decent amount, but particularly the Vi into Kench, you're just going to be neutralized. Like, Corki has a great way of getting away with a lot of your influence with his W, and then Jinx isn't really going to be as bothered as long as Keria is able to maintain his position near Guma. And let's not forget that Keria, his Kench, is the battle variety of Kench.
Oh yes, it's an engaged support.
It really is. And we do see the Jarvan. I really like these. These are 2 champions, both of which we have seen Oner have insane amounts of success on. The Lee, it was fine. It wasn't really the problem, but it also didn't really fix anything. As mid lane pool really getting pinched here by T1. Now, the main thing is obviously is that what are you going to do? Corki is such a safe champion.
We're opting out of range. It's not about range.
So you're opting out of range, and also you're picking a Kali into Kench. KT's taking some risks in this game. Number 2, and yeah, slam that Poppy.
Oh,
against Rakan,
Poppy feels
Akali,
so good.
And Vi, please do.
Oh yeah.
Should have done it last game.
The most comfy Poppy angle that we've seen in the history of the world. And Oner's going to let it tick down, but I have a feeling that this is almost a guarantee. Oh my goodness. Okay, where does Zeus go? He can lock in an Udyr if he likes. An Ornn would be fine.
This is the most. Okay, so we lost last game. Let's draft scaling, play safe, and win draft.
Oh yeah.
This is a pivot, Atlas.
I actually love the Ornn because we mentioned the like battle catfish for Keria. I mean, the Ornn is a battle blacksmith for Zeus. The amount of solo kills on that champion he's got is actually kind of dumb, but it's Cassante instead.
Yeah, and I do understand Cassante is a lot less prone to being punished, right? And that for me is a big difference maker.
These are some fun champions.
There are a lot of fun. I imagine Gwen makes sense. Do think that
there we go.
Going to be so reliant on Beryl and Pioshik to work in perfect tandem to start off these fights. And starting fights into Cassante, Poppy, and Kench, it's about as unfun as it gets. And you will have to engage because you have no range. Zero.
Yep.
You have... The longest range thing you have is
Needlework.
perfect ult. Yeah, it's perfect ult. That's it. That's all you got. So I think T1 are looking at this draft and they're like, no rush 20.
100%.
And then we win the game. And you win, I think, quite hard.
Yes. This is, so it's still possible for KT, but they're going to need to do some really
Barrel's
going to
have to barrel perhaps even harder than he barreled last game.
Yeah, and he barreled, I think, to about a degree that we hadn't seen for many years. But KT decided to do this. That's all I got.
As they often do. They do this to themselves.
They did this on purpose. A draft is not randomized. But, yeah. There was a very interesting sign, but I'm not going to read that one out. T1 are just going to wait and then win. If we learned anything yesterday, it's that Corki is completely broken. We'll
just
see whether...
wait and win.
Yeah, the B2D Akali, see whether that is going to be the answer here as we jump into the Rift for game number 2 of the Telecom War. Oh, I can hear some of the manic cheers from the KT fans, and I can understand it after the draft. Because this is looking... Yeah, it's... when you have a look... Like, often we do adjudicate based on range, based on what a teamfight is going to look like in the later stages of the game. This could, like... Because you can't do the same thing in solo queue, right? You can look at drafts in solo queue and think, oh yeah, this is going to do this, and this is going to do that. Most of the time, it doesn't matter at all. Because a champion gets fed, champion doesn't get fed. People do their jobs, they don't, and it doesn't quite work out that way. But T1 are a well-oiled machine. They've been around for a very long time with exactly this roster, and I have a feeling that they can. Just bide their time. Oner will be able to stop KT, most of the players, from doing anything that they want to do. There's a lot of dashes. And then they sit back and Faker delivers rockets and packages and stuff like that. And then it's over. I can't help but feel like that is going to be the outcome here, and we're just going to have to see whether KT can perform a miracle. 3 of these players pretty good at miracles, as we remember back a couple of years ago. But they're not the defending champions anymore. It's in fact T1 that are in those shoes. Let's just see how it's going to go. As Rakan does have that 8-0 record that we illustrated, and they're also already going aggressive. Gumayusi with the rockets actually fighting back very nicely though. And the aggression will be thwarted.
It's actually
going to be used by T1, but not by KT.
Yeah, so favorable summoner trade, but I do think Keria and Guma will have prior over the wave, although Barrel does seem to be hell-bent on contesting. Level 2 is about to get hit, guys. I'd be a little bit careful.
Yeah, Keria is
not
stacking.
One more minion, and now we see KT back off.
Yep. So be able to grab that melee minion. Deft gives them the good old thumbs up. As, of course, Deft and Keria are pretty good friends. And Oner coming for the early gank. Deft with that ward down does spot Oner moving up the river. And there is the Tahm Kench aggression. Beryl going to take that rocket back to the tower.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going in any further. Yeah, exactly.
Beryl's level 1.
Yeah. Can he finagle a way out of this is the question, as Oner throws a buckler at him and he's just dead. The answer is he cannot. Deft also may not be able to, does have to flash as Pioshik walks over a ward, so they know that he's on his way in. The Vi at level 3 just not able to offer too much here, and T1 are already stopping KT from playing League of Legends, which is what they're here for.
T1 is not happy
Yeah, is he about to get solo killed? No, he's just going to flash. It's going to at least keep him alive, but this lane is also looking a little bit dire.
They're proxying the wave.
Yeah, and why not? Oh, Pyosik is rotating around. I don't know what a level 1 barrel is going to be able to do about this.
He has E.
He does.
He doesn't even...
Pyosik is soaking the... oh my goodness, Faker wants in on this. Teleport towards the bottom lane here from BDD as well. I have no idea. It's B-Ram. A-Rab. It is everyone's in the bottom lane. That's what's happening. The top lane is also going back to base. We'll see whether they also teleport to the bottom lane. Oh, no.
They're not committing.
Yeah, they're going to go back to the top lane. As Beryl at least has found a minion wave that he can spend some time with. 31-8.
That's fine. Pyosik salvages these. Easy. Surely. He has flash. Oner is there, though.
Yeah, Oner is here. As the Abyssal Voyage does come through, Pyosik is going to pop out of that brush. Oner taking a fair bit of damage. No one's dead just yet.
Yeah.
T1 are still going to win out, I would assume, from this position.
Is still full health.
Yeah.
We have seemingly just committed to 3v3ing in bot as well. And it has worked out very well for T1. So basically what happened is they won the level 1 trade really hard. Baron Deft overextended. Then after that, Oner didn't even... I don't even want to call it a dive. Because he just walked up and killed Beryl.
It was a wander forward, is what he went for there.
Now this is Beryl.
Yeah.
Go from the game 1 to... He also went E, which I think he actually even used at level 1 to try and get as much damage in as possible, if I'm not mistaken. Might have done it afterwards to try and get away, but definitely not going to be feeling super good about that as Oner.
Yeah, this is not looking great here for BDD. Steadfast Presence going to be there as Faker down very low. And that means that BDD is able to get himself out of the way. And Shroud, pretty powerful. Pyosik does have a slight level advantage, but as you can see, buy into Poppy, ladies and gentlemen. Not exactly the most fun, as there's a heroic charge. And Pyosik realizing that this is not the kind of fun that he's looking for. There's first blood. Oh, sorry, second, as Perfect is also going to get solo killed by Zeus. It is a complete catastrophe all over the map.
It's a very different game, Atlas.
It is. Well, I mean, the early game was kind of like this, to be honest, but not quite this.
I don't think it was like this.
No, the top lane was. The top lane definitely was. The rest of the map was not.
I think what we're learning here is that the problem was, in fact, not picking Poppy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm learning. So, Pyosik died, disrespecting Oner. Beryl died, and Deft had to give up and is now literally being doubled in CS because of Beryl disrespecting. And then Perfect got 1v1 in a counter matchup, but I'm not going to harp on the Perfect thing too much because he is a rookie playing against one of the best top laners in the world.
Well, now
maybe he can get Keria.
There he's going to have to flash as Pyosik walks. The Abyssal Dive does come on through here as the Blade Caller coming down for Deft. But Keria able to walk it off, still had the Grey health, still had a whole lot in order to keep himself alive. So another visit to the bottom lane is going to go unsuccessful here for Pyosik as we have a look at this one more time.
So what's really big here is that even though Oner is a level down, he actually does a really good job of having Pyosik tank. So because the Raptors are actually aggroed onto Pyosik, he takes so much more damage than realistically he should, as here, just a level timer. This is just fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, gets read perfectly by Zeus, pardon the pun, and you need to be very cognizant, particularly in top lane like these. Level 1 to 2 spikes is not one we talk about often. The level 5 to 6 is perhaps the biggest one in the game, right? Having an ultimate versus not having an ultimate is just absolutely ludicrous. And Zeus really finds a small timing there.
These are some good win rates for both of our mid laners.
They're good players.
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot. That is a lot.
Given how the early game has played out, I feel like we're feeling reasonably good about that win streak continuing. Because KT's one thing, I think, was trying to find big moments in mid game. And if they don't, then they can always win. I think there is a lot of scaling. Like Kali, Gwen are obviously really big threats. Xayah, Rakan, it's self-explanatory as in how these two can team fight mid to late game, but you get outranged so badly. Even with the hard engage of Rakan, even with the hard engage of Vi being available there, you're trying to hard engage it to Kench and Poppy and Cassante. It just...
Maybe the answer is side lane.
Yes, if not for the fact that Perfect is getting solo boloed.
Yeah, that's not great. As Keria is also taking a fair bit of damage. Nice square. Dig that. But he is just going to be able to walk it off. And this is all based on the fact that Keria does not have a flash available. Deft has been able to at least pull himself somewhat back into this lane, has himself his World Atlas as well. Gumayusi has opted out of picking that one up. KT still just trying to find a foothold. And Oner is back here once again. Another Abyssal Dive going to come down as there's the knock-up. Pyosik does have level 6. Now they might be able to turn onto Oner here. Doesn't have the steadfast presence for the Vault Breaker that time around as the late caller was good. Deft is going to stop the aggression, so this time they answer.
Oh, look as well. Faker was actually hovering there. In case there was a play, he was at the ready.
Oh, BDD. Get hit by a few rockets. There's another one.
Surely Hex Drinker as well. And Faker only is a Hextech alternator, so not really in a position to go back. As they just don't see each other. And that'll be the end of it. But Pyosik is in the bot side jungle, but there isn't actually a whole lot for him to do.
But he is there.
Well, yeah, maybe they can take down Guma if they can cancel the back here. Otherwise, he's going to be doing a whole lot more waiting. I don't think he wins the 1v1 against Keria.
Oh my goodness.
They have no idea. Okay, where are you going, Pyosik?
Yeah, this is the thing. I'm looking for
is
like
killing Faker. That would be big,
upside
actually.
For this.
That would be good.
Oh, he doesn't have a lot of mana.
Yeah, BDD getting a kill would be huge.
It would.
And
instead, he goes to the... Okay, there's an all-out. Perfect, looking to try and dash his way out of this one. He has the needlework. He's trying to dodge. Oh! Is it going to be the return? It's not. Zeus is going to get another solo as Oner finds some knockups here. Deft with that Featherstorm getting into the sky. The quickness is good, though, and Oner should be going down. But no, the Devourer is going to be there. Oner is spat out. He's got the huge shield. Is now BDD. Perfect execution, but into the back line. That's a kill for Gumayusi. He's been waiting for the entirety of game 1, and now this one. Super Mega Death Rocket sails by, though. And Beryl, he will live for at least a couple more seconds. And Keria gets over that wall. Can he survive is the question.
Perfect STP, doesn't want to commit, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, BDD into the Shroud, doesn't get the backflip. And so Gumayusi will survive for the moment. Beryl is trying to battle dance his way around. They're alive for the moment as these rockets are flying in, but BDD just going to be taken down. It's a double in the end for Gumayusi, sort of an extended triple as he's now on that killing spree.
And while the top half of the map feels very reminiscent of game number 1, in the bot side this time around, T1 is able to generate a large lead for Gumayusi's Jinx. 3-0 now, as, again, take a look here, Zeus doesn't miss with these Qs.
He does not.
Sets up perfect, and he almost turns it around as well. If the solo kill hadn't happened, maybe would have had enough damage, but
yeah,
not going to be enough.
Sometimes he just has too many buttons, does good old Cassante, and this was crazy.
And it looks like Oner overstepped. So much damage goes down into this Poppy, who then gets saved by Keria. And look at Guma, how much autoing he's actually able to do here. And then Faker, teleport actually really big, is able to make sure that Beryl also doesn't get to escape. And then this is just very leisurely played out, right? If BDD hits that E, maybe they kill Guma on the back end of it. So I think the flash investment makes sense, but Guma finds a sidestep, and then at this point, Keria can just take the aggro.
Very, very smooth. And Faker, I will need to get some translation as to what he actually said, but probably feeling a whole lot better in this particular game. Perfect finds himself under the turret once again, and Zeus with full health is very scary. Def not going to get hit by that one. Good knock up there onto Keria, who's taking a little bit of damage. And Oner and Pyosik, once again, back in position where they live in this bottom lane. 3v3 ensuing. Some more plates. Still a minute left before they fall down. Gumayusi not going to opt in for it. And KT licking their wounds as best they can. In the end, it is a 4,000 gold lead for T1 in this early game. We mentioned that they also have the advantage in the late game. And so the story does not really have that much improvement as we get further into it for KT. But T1, they should be able to just cruise on forward. And Corki can be now played with all of his buttons as well, as now looking for Faker here is Pioshik, does find the cease and desist, as Oner says no. He would prefer it if they just left. VOD wanting to get this kill off on the back end as in goes Barrel. Doesn't quite get the quickness onto Faker, who just walks. He just gets himself out. Oner not going to be so lucky as VOD, oh, the gleaming quill heal is going to come on through, able to block out there as well as the tongue lash comes in. Good vault breaker as now Keria's moving away and VOD aggressively moving forward. I thought maybe he'd just take another casual turret shot just because he could. Gumayusi should be able to grab this turret at the same time. Def not going to be able to do too much to stop it.
And the investment that it made pays off a little bit. They're not able to kill Faker, but they are able to at least get something. But they pay for it very heavily because Guma, they're going to contest. Teleport coming in.
Yeah, Faker teleporting forward. Doesn't have the package, is now Keria looking for the opportunity. That's Faker that takes the Cloud Drake. Not sure how that one happened, but it happened. And now Deft is just running for the hills. There is the Feather Storm, but Gumayusi still looking for more. VOD might be able to find him. Pioshik is dying here in the jungle. Up on the back end, that is Faker collecting that kill. VOD is now walking around and things like that. And there is an alive Gumayusi. So something happened. Gumayusi lived in the end as Zeus doesn't take damage. And Perfect is really wondering how this champion is allowed to be this incredibly fed. And the turret going to be taken down here. Zeus is just, he's too good in this particular game.
Yeah, coming into this match, I don't think any misconceptions about the match. That movement from Faker there. And also, if Pioshik hits that, they 100% kill it, right?
I think so too, yeah.
And I think Pioshik did have his flash. Maybe flash Q could have been the difference maker there. Because without that Q hitting, you don't actually have the damage to take down Faker, and so much more has to be invested. And on the flip side here, getting this Drake wouldn't have really changed the outcome of the game. 2 health. Pioshik smites at 902.
Oh dear.
He's just like, I'm dead anyway.
And starts off the red buff.
He's like, yeah, it's... I'm a glass half full kind of guy, Atlas, but in this case, I think the glass is empty if you're a KT fan. I don't... Okay, BDD is 2-1. That's something.
There we go. Oner is a bit late on the steadfast presence there as well. There's a positive for KT. They're looking to try and defend. Of course, this is a position that Zayas actually do perform relatively well in as a defensive champion. But when Beryl just gets eviscerated by a couple of buttons, you're thinking to yourself, why did we opt in for this?
How did we end up here?
Yeah.
Why did we?
What were the decisions that led us to this moment? And there are a few of them. Zeus is also absolutely massive, as we can see here. Keria going to get engaged on one more time. It's pretty tanky, but there is Beryl. They are able to take down the Tahm Kench. And Perfect finds himself into that backline. So no real answer here as VOD has a flank angle as well. Perfect diving forward. My God, Gumayusi's going to be taken down. And now VOD, the perfect execution. He doesn't get the shuriken, but still he's able to chase after the pop of the ignite. It's ticking and Beryl's able to lock it down, but the extension is so large. Zeus almost able to just clean it up, but it snip goes Perfect. And the Gwen will still be able to find the kill. And KT somehow find an advantageous team fight.
Farming shutdowns. That's what KT's doing.
There you go.
It doesn't equalize the goal, but it makes it a little bit better. Keria gets caught. The one member that can't overextend on this team is him. And then we see them over it and VOD. This teleport, absolutely huge, because it forces T1 into a fight that they don't really want to take. Perfect actually doing a really good job with his needles there, taking Guma down low right from the get-go. And in a straight up front to back, I don't think KT's ever winning. But if you have this messy a fight with one of the biggest tools for keeping your backline safe, dying right from the get-go, that's KT territory, baby. And they capitalize as much as the situation allows them. It's not enough, but my man Perfect, you know,
he did some damage.
He's pummeled in lane. There's going to be a lot that the coaches are going to have to say about that one, but he's trying his best.
Indeed.
It's something, Atlas.
I mean, if they're able to make a positive play happen in a game like this, where the early game went the way it did and the draft also happened, I'm going to say that it's mostly positive things, I would be saying. But let's see whether they can string a few of those together, because it can't stop here. As Pyosik, he's going in. Cease and desist down onto Gumayusi, but maybe that's what needed to happen for Pyosik, as Gumayusi's bullet follows him all the way forward. And now they are in the shooting rounds. BDD, does he have the perfect execution to try and lock this one down? Zeus is all the way underneath an inhibitor turret. He goes all out, but Perfect is kind of okay with it. BDD is real dead though, and Gumayusi, he is now tidying up as the triple kill comes in, and Zeus is still alive. He went for a journey amongst as many inhibitor turrets as he could find, and
it's a clean ace.
Is it just the game?
Oh, Pyosik is already alive again.
Oh, it's 19 minutes. Yeah, maybe the death timers aren't quite long enough. It's an 8,000 gold lead though, and whether the game ends right now, I think it's already over.
So do we stamp this one? That's my question.
Stamp it with what?
Well, we have the stamp of approval in game 1.
Oh, approval of what?
That's up to you, Atlas. You're the one with the stamp.
Oh, right. If it's the shellacking stamp, we're giving it that one. I think that one.
So it's
that's Jake Spawn Tiberia approved, 100%. But I don't know what this stamp is. Maybe it's the stamp of Gumayusi just getting into an enemy base at pre-20 minutes and killing 3 people.
Zeus is just...
And Zeus doing whatever this is, yeah.
2 turns.
And we
by himself! Guma's splashing over a wall!
And in the last situation as well, like, we didn't see what happened to Perfect here, but like Zeus just doesn't take damage. He did in the last little engage, because there was a... Oh, okay. There was almost a Baron attempt, but it doesn't happen. Gumayusi's done a lot of damage, and for a Jinx, pre-20 minutes, or at least now ticking over towards 20 minutes, that is a big deal. Gumayusi probably pretty mad about what happened in the last game. This time around, 7-1-3 on this Jinx. As over goes Oner, Steadfast Presence gets a fair bit of value, and package delivered! FedEx from Faker into the backline, absolutely obliterating them. That Baron was all a cunning ruse, and how many aces do you need? They don't have enough sleeves for all of these aces chronically. In fact, they do. That's 2 of them, isn't it? And they are just going to move towards the base and look to take this one down. Perfect does get some bounty gold, so there we go. But this game is done and dusted. And we are going to 3 in this telecom war. I think next time, perhaps a different attempt in the drafting phase of this game. They went for it. It was a Hail Mary, and they sort of punched themselves in the face. T1.